Year 2, it's Tuesday the 2nd of February and we are here for another comprehension video. Our comprehension video is for the Year 2 comprehension book. Okay, so let's have a little look at the next page today. Let's see what types of questions we're thinking about and what our learning question is. So, can I answer questions on a non-fiction text? Pause the video. We've talked about this lots of times now. Tell your grown up what do we mean by a non-fiction text. Have a little chat. Okay, a non-fiction text then is not a story. It's not made up. It's about real information and facts. Okay, so it's a factual piece of information today, a factual text. We've got 3 types of questions we're going to think about today. One of them is retrieval questions. One is a true or false question, which again, we haven't done one of those. So that's a new type of question. You do need to retrieve the information, but it's worded in a different way than we are used to. So we're going to have a practice at one of those. And then the last one is an inference type of question, where you need to use clues to have a think about your answer. It's not an answer that's already there as such. You have to use some clues and use what you already know to make a good answer. Okay, so our text today is all about what do you think? What do you think our text is about today? The picture clue on the board. All about sports. You might want to pause the video and talk to your grown-up about different kinds of sports and what facts and information you might already know about sports before we start. Okay, we have got a lot of writing today. There's a lot of text and a lot of questions. Okay, we're on page 20 and the writing, the text is a whole page today. It's a whole page and it's called sports. Okay, and the text is split into sections, into little paragraphs, and you have one box of text for each sport today. Okay. So let's have a little look at some words that might be tricky for us, and then we can do some practice questions. Okay, tricky words then. We've got a few to have a little look at to help us with our reading. The first one, we've got E and A, just like we did in one of our words yesterday. And it's again making an E sound. So, healthy. We've had that word in science a little bit as well, haven't we? The word healthy. And this word links to being healthy. It's got a soft C in the middle. A soft C makes a S sound. It's X, exercise. Do lots of exercising to keep us healthy. Okay. This word, I know Mrs. Wood's phonics. You thought about O and U last week making an ow sound, didn't you? This is one of those alternative pronunciations where O and U isn't making an ow sound, it's making an O sound. So if it's making an O sound, read it with me. This word is touch. It's touch, isn't it? Touch. Okay. We've got another soft C at the end, and it's paired with the E to make the S sound. And this time, O and U is making an ow sound. So this word is bounce. Bounce. Okay. Lots of balls we've just looked at in the picture. Lots of doing some bouncing. I wonder which sport we have to bounce the ball. Okay, this word there, this is another thing that you might use in a sport. And this word, it looks like it's got a qu sounding, but this word is racket. Racket. Well, I think my sound buttons would probably react. Racket. Hit the ball with the racket, might you? Okay, last few then. This word is one of the sports, or part of one of the sports, that you're going to be reading about today. And it's marshal. So we've got T-I-A-L at the end, making a shul sound, marshal. And the sport is martial arts that you're going to be reading a little bit about today. This word then has another way of making sort of a similar sound. So that was martial. So this is special. So this time it's got C-I-A-L making a shul sound. Okay? And then this last sport is judo. Judo. So the U and the O are long vowel sounds. Judo. Judo. That's another one of your type of sports today. Okay? You might want to go through and see where some of those tricky words are in the text. Okay, so we've had a think about our tricky words that we need to read. Let's see if there's any tricky words that we might need to look up what they mean. Okay, I've come up with a couple today. There's including. Now, including comes from the word include, doesn't it? You might know what that word already means. Right? We've got include or including, and then we've got eat, compete, or competing. So I think those words might be quite difficult to understand. If it is that you're not sure what they mean, you can pause the video and see if you can go onto one of our online dictionary tools and have a little look and chat with your grown-up about what those words mean. Okay, we're clear on those words? So if you are including something, if you're going to include something, it means you're keeping it in. So if you've got a group of things and you include something, you're putting it in that group. And then if you are going to compete or you are competing in something, it's a bit like you're doing a contest or a challenge, isn't it? And you're competing against somebody else to be the winner. Okay. So those are our tricky words for today. Let's think about our text then. So can you have a little look at your text on page 20? I would like you to give it a read. Quite a lot of text today, so it might take you a little bit of time to read. Okay, again, have a little see where you might be able to use your sound buttons to help you out, and have a think about all the strategies we've talked about already, what we do when we come across an unfamiliar word. There's quite a lot of text there. Okay, some of the sounds we've thought about in some of those other tricky words might also be in some of those. So see when you come across a word if you can recognise an alternative pronunciation. Okay, maybe check that with your grown-up. Okay, put my text in as best I can because it's quite a large text, isn't it? Put it under like that, and obviously you have got your copy in front of you as well. Okay, I'm going to think about some question types then today, and some example questions. My first one then says, in judo, our tricky words, in judo, how do people put, I think I needed that word get, I think I changed my mind. How do people put each other on the floor? That's a tricky word, that's floor. Okay. How do people put each other on the floor? Now, this type of question uses something called a synonym. And a synonym is where words have the same meaning, but they're not the same word. So sometimes your question might be a synonym. It might be a word similar to one that's in the text, but not the exact word. So sometimes looking for the exact key word doesn't always work. You might need to look in the text for a synonym, a word that means something similar or means the same. Okay, so I'm looking in the judo part. The good part about today's text is that it's split up into the sports. So I'm looking for the judo text and I'm looking for something that tells me about people putting each other on the floor. Let me go back to my text. So here's judo. going to make it a little bit bigger on my screen now. So here's judo at the bottom. I'm going to read it. It says judo is a martial art, a sport that involves self-defense. Two people compete against each other. They must use special moves to try to pin each other to the ground. Now, got there? Pin each other to the ground. I think that means the same as put each other on the floor, doesn't it? Because floor and ground would be synonyms. They would mean the same thing. So, how do people put each other on the floor? It says they must use special moves to try to pin each other to the ground. And again, pin and put could be similar words, couldn't they? So they need to use special moves. I'm going to put that in a sentence. I'm just going to write they use special moves. They use special moves is in the text, so I can spell it correctly by copying it down. They use special moves. Okay, let's have a look. Next one. Oh, we've got table tennis. Table tennis uses a bat. Is this true or false? So I need to be looking for what it tells me about table tennis, and I need to be seeing if it says they use a bat. Right, let's have a little look then back at our text. Let me find the table tennis part. There we go, table tennis. Right, let's have a little look, we can have a read. Oh, now table tennis. I'll have a skim read and see if it tells me about a bat. It's got bat there, look, hasn't it? A small black and red bat is used to hit a white or orange ball over a net on a table. So I could just write the word true for that one. I could just write the word true, or I could give a little bit more information. So I might say true, and then you could say table tennis does use a bat. Table tennis does use a bat. But if you just wrote true, you would still get your mark, your point for that question. Okay, don't get my full stop. Right, it says one sport uses a shuttlecock. One sport uses a shuttlecock. Explain what this is. Which word are you going to have to look for in the text to answer this question? We're going to have to look for the word shuttlecock, aren't we? We're going to have to look for the word shuttlecock. Let's have a little look. Go back to our text. Now this one, we don't know which section it's going to be in, do we? So we're just going to have to skim the text to see if we can find the word shuttlecock and then see which section of the text it's in. Look. All the way down. You might remember this if you've already read the text really carefully. Okay, so skim this one. One. There, isn't it? So the answer is badminton, isn't it? It's in the badminton section. The answer is badminton. So again, you could just write the word badminton as your answer, or you could put it in a sentence. So you might want to say badminton uses a shuttlecock. Put it into a sentence. Badminton uses a shuttlecock. A funny word, isn't it? It's a long word to write as well. Cross my T's at the end. Badminton uses a shuttlecock. Okay. Last one then. I'm going to not answer, but we're going to talk about this one because it's similar to yours. This question says, which sport do you think would be the most fun and why? Now, this type of question, there could be loads of different answers because it's your opinion, but you've got to base it on a fact. Okay, so you can't just say, I think football would be the most fun because I like it. You have to give a reason why. So you have to think about something that it's told you in the text which you think would make it sound fun. Okay, so you might, for example, say football. I think football would be the most fun because there are lots of players on the team. So you might like to play a game where there's lots of teammates with you. Okay, so you've given a reason from the text. Okay, you might say that you thought basketball might be the most fun because, let's have a look what evidence, what fact we could give. Okay, because you really like throwing the ball. You're really, really good at throwing. So that's why you might like basketball because it tells us players score by throwing the ball. So when you're answering a question like that, you need to give your opinion but back it up with something that you've read. Okay, some information in the text that you've read. Right then, so a little think about your questions and then we'll go over the challenge. So your questions today, there are 7 of them, 7 questions today. Why is it important to exercise? Exercise is your keyword. In football, how many people on each team are allowed to pick up the ball? Now, you might know the answer to that one if you're a football fan, okay, but do have a little look at the text to make sure that you've proved it. Number 3, table tennis uses a shuttlecock. Is this true or false? Now, I think we know the answer to that already, and I think you can put that into a good sentence. And a good tip is, if you are saying it's false, tell me why. Question 4, judo is a martial art. Explain what this means. So that's in the judo section. It tells you what that means. Can you retrieve it? Question 5, which sport is played by the largest team? Again, you might know the answer to that one, but go back into each section and see how many players play in each team and which one is the largest. You could give me a reason why, so you could say how you know for that one. Tell me how many people are on the team. Question 6. This is similar to the last one we've just talked about. It says, which do you think would be the hardest sport? And then it asks you why. So you're going to choose which one you think would be the hardest, but then give a reason based on something you've read in the text. What is it about it that you think would be hard? Back it up by giving a piece of evidence in the text. And the last one really isn't actually fully about the text because it says, do you like to play sports? Which one is your favourite? Okay, so that's a question that links to the text, but it's not an inference question. If you would like an extra challenge after all of those 7 questions today, there's a couple of options on the board. So one says, can you create a poster or fact file about staying healthy? You could write about other types of exercise or other ways to stay healthy. So you could maybe do a Be Healthy poster and give people some facts about how to stay healthy. Or you could write about the ways that you keep yourself healthy. And it is a website at the bottom, which I thought you and your grown-up could perhaps have a look at together to help you out with your challenge if you would like to today. The website is healthforkids.co.uk. That's got some super information on about exercising, about healthy foods, and about other things that you can do to keep your bodies healthy. So that might help you out if you want to do one of our challenge activities today. We'll have photos if you do, please. Photos of your challenge activity and definitely photos of your answers from the text. All 7 questions. Sure, that's going to keep you very busy and I'm sure you're going to do a super job. We can't wait to see it. Okay, well done, year two. We'll see you again tomorrow for some more. Bye bye.